Good afternoon, everybody. This is Richie coming at you from the historic Blick Plantation. I'm sitting here with Harrison,
Hello.
my strong, brave son. He likes to stay in the house when he comes. Um, but I put up a few pictures earlier, and y'all have met him before. He's done an interview, and this is what I call like the exit interview for the work day. Um, but I wanted to just get his thoughts on how we're progressing and what we're doing. And we're hoping to plan some events coming up soon. There's been a couple things going on in our personal lives with my daughter's engagement. Congratulations, Elle and Ben. To school stuff and all that. Spring is springing, so it's getting kind of busy. But I wanted to get his opinion. So tell me what your thoughts are. First, tell me what your thoughts are on all the clearing around the house and stuff.
Um, well, I think the clearing has been really phenomenal, especially yesterday and today. Um, Working for almost 5 hours straight, clearing wood, logs, stacking them, and moving bush and just sticks down to the end of the street. I think that was it was fun for me. I really enjoyed doing it. I beat up my forearms though doing it, and I beat up my hands too because I didn't listen to Dad and wear gloves while moving the wood.
You wore gloves sometimes, but not. I would
Sometimes
look over there and you weren't wearing gloves. And this wood is rough. It's got
it's
like a
very rough bark.
yeah. A lot of these trees, I think they call them rough bark birches, but they have a very rough bark on them, and it's spotty. It's not. It's got the smooth bark like a birch tree, but then it's got these miscellaneous chunks of rough, and it will scratch the you know what out of you. Plus briars and
Yeah.
twigs and all that stuff. So, but what are you thinking about? I mean, what about the appearance of the house?
I really I looked yesterday when I arrived to the house. I looked at it and I saw it, and it was like I was seeing it. Like every time I see it, and I think I'm seeing it for the first time because of just how grand this house is and just the amount of progress it's on the outside, just clearing it and the paved and the lights and all of it. I look at it and I can just sit and stare at it for a long time. I really think the outside's becoming what it used to be ever so slightly more and more, and it just looks really awe-inspiring.
Yeah, I mean, with the porch kind of pulled away, it's starting to look like it would have for the first 100 years of its life. So without a porch,
Yeah.
and you can see those beautiful cellar vents and all that. I just took Harrison around and showed him the paint color, the paints that the chips that I was finding. Um, and even though I'm still not convinced, y'all, about this barn or this brick red paint, I don't know if I want to go that route. That's just so dark for out here in the country. That's going to be tough. Plus, I'm worried that it's going to fade and have to be repainted all the time, and it's going to be bad enough painting it one time, not to mention every 5 years or 8 years or whatever it might be. But Harrison, you had some guests over last night.
Yes, I did.
Tell me about it. What did they think, and what was their impression?
So I had two of my friends, Nicholas and Sierra. They drove 4 hours down randomly in the middle of the night just because they wanted to see it. And when they arrived at the house, I they had been so excited to see this house already from all the pictures I'd sent them, but they told me that no picture does this house the justice of being in front of it and seeing it right in front of you. And they just loved this house. They loved the inside, they loved the outside. They were incredibly respectful to the graveyard and to the house. They weren't uh they were incredibly respectful, and they learned a lot, and I was really happy that I was able to teach them about the history of this house and how it connects to us and how we take pride in this house and all the projects we've done and are planning on doing, and just taking them around and just showing everyone, just showing both of them everything, and then hanging out. It was really nice, and they just loved it.
What are their ages?
Nick, they're both 19.
19. So that's part of the nonprofit's mission, is to teach others, and it's to learn from the house and the property. It's teaching us, and we're teaching others, and that's the purpose of the broadcast that I do and the videos. And it's to keep a record, but it's also to teach and learn at the same time. So thank you for inviting them
Oh
down
yeah.
and for touring them around. They didn't actually spend the night in the house. They what are
They
the
they planned on spending the night, but my friend Nicholas that came down, he had stuff he had to do early in the morning, so they left here around 4:30 this morning. So, but they were able to see the house and check it out, and
yeah. So
it will definitely not be the last time they're here.
they
It
came
won't be
for a
the only
quick
time.
visit and then back home in
Yeah, and they
day trip at night. You could
and
do that when you're 19. You can't do that when you're 52.
and
Almost.
we we have wanted to I've wanted to bring them down here since I found this place, since we found this place, and it's definitely not the last time that they're going to be down here, and I want to bring more friends down here to show all of my friends
Mm-hmm.
just something that I'm incredibly proud of, because I love history, and the fact that such an important building is tied to me is incredibly fascinating.
Yeah, that's nice of you to say, and that's the whole purpose, and that's why this property will go on to future generations, and continue to educate us. And but it constantly evolves. Like, I'm constantly finding things that I'm every time I'm here, I'm correcting myself because I think a certain way, and then 6 months later I find out, oop, that's not correct at all. So if you go back and watch the early videos, some of them have incorrect information. um, but I try and correct it if I think about it. But like downstairs, I thought it was a double beam that was about a foot thick, um, on the edge of the house, but the beam sets about a foot from the edge of the house, and then the edge of the house has a what appears it might be like a 6 by 12 beam or something like that. It's not as big, but I had to correct myself on that. But um, what are your thoughts on the inside? This is the first time you've seen this room since I really started decorating it. This is the Civil War room, and it's our board room. We have the big table and stuff here. You could call it a dining room, but we don't really eat here like that. So maybe if we do another stew, we'll all come in here and sit around the table and eat. But it's really for meetings and boardrooms and uh, clubs, organizations. Is my future intent to invite them in. But what are your thoughts on the decorations and the decor and how the fireplace I'm trying to put in and all of that? What are your thoughts about everything in here?
I like to call this room the crown of the house, because this
Mm.
room, there's so many intricate paintings and artifacts like the one behind me, and I
That's fake, by the way. That's just shadow boxes. So y'all know that's not a real gun in that box. That's a prop, but it's a good one.
it's a
And
really convincing prop.
yeah, it is. It is without a doubt. Did you know it was fake?
No,
I never
I
told you
thought it
that.
was real. I thought it was real. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I wish it was. No, I wouldn't leave it in the house if it was real.
Hmm.
So, but now with the donation of the generator, and with the clearing of the power line, we're going to have electricity soon. It still probably is going to take a month or two to get that run and all hooked up, but it's on the future. And now we can run the dehumidifier with the generator. We can run the submersible pump with the generator. We were able to pump out all of the water in the cellar. It's completely dry. Well, there's a little, maybe a half an inch in the lowest part that keeps seeping and collecting. and it's probably going to do that for quite a while, and I'm perfectly fine with that. With the amount of cross ventilation going on down there, it's going to dry itself out once it heats up a little bit anyway. But getting the dehumidifier running in the house is really important. It's critical to keep the mold and mildew off of stuff. But what what are your thoughts about the other room? The
I really like the new additional paintings that we have in there. The milk jug, the
yeah,
1776. I I love that paint. I love the paint on it, and I
it's bright red. I mean, it's
bright
not
red
antique
and
looking at all, but it is an old milk jug. It's not from 1776. I just like the design, and I thought that it fit with President's Day and George Washington's, picture print. It's not an expensive print, y'all. By the way, I just put it in a nice frame with proper glass and stuff in it because I thought that it would pay respects, especially since we have an ancestor that fought in the Revolutionary War, and Washington discharged him at Valley Forge. So it has a personal meaning to us. Um, I'm still looking for artwork from Valley Forge, and I would also like artwork from Gettysburg to go in here, and the Valley Forge can go in there. But and then our friend uh, Lisa Ott gave us another portrait of 8x10 of Washington. Um, and then uh, a follower donated uh, I guess it's a print. I don't know what you call it, black and white or charcoal and cream color of William and Mary,
mm,
King William, Queen Mary. So that's going to be in there. So we're going to tie that into the colonial and Revolutionary War era in the other room. So it's turning into kind of like a museum. It wasn't really my intent to do that, but that's the way it's kind of turning
and
into.
I'm completely fine with that. I've always been fascinated with like the Smithsonian and just history and just being able to stand and just look at history while standing in history is
Yeah,
like
he's always been my
beyond this world.
history buff, and including family history too. Um, Spencer likes it as well, but Harris